You know, there's a saying that the heavy bag is the biggest liar in the gym. Sounds kind of dramatic, right? But honestly, it's entirely true. Just think about it. You step up, you throw a massive right cross, the bag swings wildly, the sound echoes through the room. But here's the catch. The heavy bag never slips your jab. It doesn't counter over a dropped guard. It just absorbs every single technical flaw you throw at it, all while letting your ego believe you're hitting with the raw power of a heavyweight champ. And that leads us straight to the core problem we're unpacking today. See, you think you're building raw, explosive power, right? But without even realizing it, you're actually hardwiring some really dangerous muscle memory. Every single time you throw a flawed punch at that bag and there's no consequence, your brain logs it as a success. It's like, hey, that worked. You're basically building habits that will absolutely get you caught the exact second a real moving opponent steps in front of you. All right, so let's dive into this. First up, we're looking at power illusions. This covers mistakes number 1 and 2. This is where that deceptive feeling of hitting hard completely masks your true biomechanical power. So, mistake number 1, pushing instead of snapping. When a beginner really wants to feel strong, they'll extend their arm, lean their whole body weight forward, and just shove the bag. The bag goes swinging violently across the room, and they're thinking, man, I hit hard. But in reality, you basically just pushed a 100-pound mattress. A push transfers really slow kinetic energy. In a real fight, a push punch is sluggish. It totally telegraphs your intent, and it leaves you leaning way out over your feet, just begging for a counterpunch. True power comes from a kinetic snap. You gotta imagine your fist is the very end of a whip. You drive force from the ground, rotate the hips, and, this is absolutely crucial, retract that punch back to your face faster than it went out. When you do it right, the bag shouldn't be swinging all over the ceiling. It should literally just shudder in place with a sharp, echoing pop. Which actually builds right into mistake number 2, and that's smothering your range. Imagine standing exactly 6 inches away from a solid brick wall and trying to throw a fastball. It's impossible, right? There's just no way to generate any acceleration. Yet when fighters get tired working the heavy bag, they naturally start drifting inside. Their elbows stay bent, their shoulders lock up, and suddenly they're just throwing these short, cramped, suffocated little punches. You simply cannot generate maximum leverage when you're smothering your own space like that. So the key here is understanding this concept called kinetic distance. To actually transfer your power, your straight punches, we're talking your jab and your cross, they need to impact that bag at roughly 95% of your full arm extension. That right there is the sweet spot where maximum velocity meets maximum mass. So before you even throw a punch in your next session, try this. Fully extend your lead jab and just touch the bag with your glove. That exact spot, that is your long-range boundary line. You have to respect that boundary if you really want to cultivate real, dangerous power instead of just those suffocated pushes. Okay, so now that we've totally shattered those power illusions, let's shift gears a bit. We're moving on to leaving openings, which covers mistakes 3 and 4. And this brings us straight to mistake number 3, bilateral disconnect. Because there's no actual threat of a counterpunch coming back at you, it is so easy to get lazy. Just watch someone throw a standard 1-2 combo on the bag sometime. A lot of times, as that right cross goes out to attack, their non-punching left hand just kind of drifts down to their chest. Or it just hangs out in empty space like a loose string. Basically, your brain is disconnecting the two sides of your body, and that leaves this massive, wide-open window right over your jaw. But here is your direct fix for that. If one hand is attacking, the opposite hand absolutely must become an active shield, no exceptions. It needs to basically glue itself to your cheekbone, and you want that elbow tucked tightly against your ribs to protect the body. If you're firing the right, the left is your shield. If you're firing the left, the right is your shield. If you don't actively train this guarded posture on the heavy bag, I promise you, you're going to pay for it dearly the second you start sparring. All right, let's take a look at mistake number 4, eye lockdown. It's a pretty universal rule in fighting that where your eyes look, your head follows. And a huge majority of bag work involves fighters staring directly, almost hypnotically really, at the exact spot their gloves are about to touch the leather. When they throw a body hook, their eyes drop straight down to the floor. When they throw a straight cross, they lock their vision dead center on the brand logo of the heavy bag. Now, what's really interesting about this is one specific number, 1 second. In a real bout, if you look down at your opponent's ribs before you hit them, you are giving away your intended target a full second before the punch even lands. By staring at your target on the bag, you're actively training yourself to telegraph your attacks. Plus, think about it. Dropping your head to look at the body completely exposes the top of your skull, and it totally blinds you to any incoming hooks. The solution here is super simple, but it definitely requires a ton of discipline. Keep your eyes level, exactly as if you were looking directly into the chest or the eyes of an imaginary opponent. When you want to attack the body of the heavy bag, do not look down. Instead, use your peripheral vision to find those lower targets. It keeps your head up, it keeps your defense totally intact, and it keeps your opponent guessing. We are now entering our final and honestly most dangerous category. This is the statue syndrome trap, which is mistake number 5. I really want you to think about this for a second. What happens the exact moment your combination ends? Like, really be honest with yourself here. You throw this beautiful, lightning-fast 4-punch combination. The leather hits hard, the sound is incredibly satisfying. What do you do next? If you just stand there, that is statue syndrome. Freezing flat-footed to admire your work is actually the moment of highest risk, and it is the absolute easiest way to get knocked out in a real fight. You gotta remember, the heavy bag round isn't finished just because your last punch happened to land. To break the statue syndrome, you have to drill these 3 defensive exits deep into your muscle memory. Every single combination you throw on the bag has to end with one of these movements. Number 1, step back and completely out of range. Number 2, slip your head off the center. Or number 3, pivot your feet off the center line entirely. The golden rule here, you must never ever stay exactly where you just fired from. So how do we actually pull all this together? Well, it all comes down to adopting the correct heavy bag mindset. We need to treat it like a fighter. We really need to stop treating this equipment like some passive workout prop. Instead, let's turn the gym liar into your absolute sharpest, most unforgiving coach. Let's synthesize these 5 fixes into a clear action plan. First, stop pushing and start snapping your shots like a whip. Second, cure that bilateral disconnect by gluing your opposite hand to your chin. Third, respect your kinetic distance, fight at the end of that 95% extension. Fourth, break the eye lockdown by keeping your vision strictly at eye level and using your peripheral vision. And finally, fifth, defeat statue syndrome by moving your head or your feet the very second your combination finishes. This brilliantly illustrates how fixing your biomechanics on the bag will instantly transfer to sharper, faster, and incredibly dangerous real-world punching form. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought today. The next time you wrap your hands and step onto those gym mats, you have a choice to make. Will you let your ego hit the bag, just pushing it around to feel strong? Or will you execute these 5 fixes and actually train for the fight?